The economic impact is slowly rippling across India to areas as remote as the salt fields of Gujarat. Before sunrise, 32-year-old Muktaben begins raking in her salt pans to avoid working in the midday heat. With measured strokes, she breaks the salt crystals, which form as the brine evaporates. For decades, she and her family have made salt this way, enduring the hardships of a nomadic life.
For 8 months, we must live in the desert. There are no vegetables to eat, food is scarce, and my kids can't go to school. Of course, it's difficult to leave children when they are young, so we bring them with us.
5 years ago, Muktaben's family had little hope of escaping the poverty of the salt pans. To pump brine from the underground pools, they had to rent a costly machine. Then there was the high price of diesel to keep it running. To cover their costs, the family had no other option but to borrow from salt merchants.
And that was the time when the traders would make a deal with them, even before the production would start, that at the end of the season, whatever was the entire production of that very particular salt pan worker, he or she would have to give it to the trader. So the trader was virtually getting all the salt free.
At that time, the work was so hard, it divided the family. The grandparents stayed in the village. The kids played alone in the fields, while the parents worked the salt pans.
One of the most urgent needs of the salt workers was childcare. Seva lobbied the government for funds, then hired local women to run the daycare centers.
Many people have said to us, what is a union doing organizing childcare? And we said, well, for us it's a union issue. We're women workers, we don't have access to childcare, and without childcare, we can't survive, and there's no question of coming out of poverty.
Slowly, Seva began to reach out to the working mothers.
When they invited us to a union meeting, we had a lot of difficulties. There were boundaries for women. Women cannot go out into the world like men can. Doesn't matter how much work a woman does, she can't go out without her husband.
At first, only 5 women dared to join. One was Muktaben. With Seva's help, she took out a $300 loan and bought her own machine. Then she attended classes to learn how to control the salt content of the brine. Soon she was making grade A quality salt that her family could sell for higher prices. Over the past 3 years, they've been able to push the price of salt up from 60 to 100 rupees a pound. By the end of this coming harvest, Muktaben's family will have enough money to repay their debts. And when they return to their village, their children will go to school.
Since my parents were poor, they could not grant my wishes. But now that I have more control over my life, I will fulfill my daughter's hopes, whatever they may be, and she will be happy.